We all grew up watching shows that felt like home, with characters who felt like family. But what if I told you it wasn't always so perfect behind the scenes? Have you ever wondered where the actors who vanished in between famous shows are now? And why some of our favorite shows got canceled without proper context? In this video, I'm going to tell you about the dark side of your favorite sitcoms that you wish you didn't know. Modern Family is loved for its quirky humor, heartfelt moments, and that picture-perfect portrayal of a diverse, loving family. But what if I told you that show's very beginnings almost took a very different, darker turn? The original plot of Modern Family wasn't quite the cheery family saga we know today. Rumor has it that earlier drafts hinted at a very different story for Jay Pritchett, a man whose success might have been built on secrets that could shock even the most die-hard fans. In those early scripts, Jay wasn't just a successful businessman, he was a man with a mysterious past. Some insiders say the original storyline revealed that Jay had been involved in questionable business deals, hiding a past that would have cast a shadow over his charming personality. Network executives were reportedly stunned when they read the earlier drafts, and they thought this is too risky for our audience. So the decision was made to rewrite the script entirely, scrubbing out any mention of Jay's past, replacing it with the polished, beloved character we now adore. A few lost storyboards and handwritten notes from that era still resurface from time to time, and they hint at the secret plot lines that almost made it to the screen. And it's said that there are hidden references, rewritten scenes, subtle lines hinting at a backstory that was never fully erased, just buried. This hidden past makes you wonder, how many other secrets did the creators try to hide to maintain that flawless, modern family image? And let's move on to the next show. Do you remember the classic scene of Malcolm standing in front of the camera, breaking the fourth wall with that signature sarcastic look? "Why does everything always happen to me?" he groans, right before another ridiculous family disaster occurs. Malcolm in the Middle was fast, funny, and chaotic. But what if I told you that behind the laughs, one of the biggest stars was going through something much darker? Frankie Muniz carried the whole show with his quick wit, sharp delivery, and his ability to jump between comedy and drama within seconds. But what fans didn't see was what was happening off-screen. Because while Malcolm struggled under the pressure of being a misunderstood genius, Frankie Muniz was battling something even worse, and he didn't even know it yet. At first, it was just exhaustion due to the insane filming schedule and the pressure to deliver every single take with the same perfect energy. But then something changed. And many years later, Muniz revealed something shocking. He suffers from long-term memory loss and doesn't remember most of his childhood, including the times he was acting in Malcolm in the Middle. Due to multiple concussions and many strokes, his memories of Malcolm in the Middle are almost completely gone. Imagine being the star of one of the most iconic sitcoms of the 2000s and having no memory of it. So now the big question is, if this happened to the star of one of the TV's biggest sitcoms, how many other young actors did Hollywood quietly push past their limits? Nobody really knows. I bet you can't guess what happened off screen in the next show. It was the perfect family sitcom. Or was it? Millions grew up watching Full House, believing it was the ultimate feel-good show. But what if I told you behind the laughter there were dark secrets, feuds, and scandals that would shatter your childhood memories? They were only 9 months old and already part of a multi-million-dollar TV show. We're talking about Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, who were cast as Michelle Tanner before they could even walk. But here's something Full House never told you. They almost got fired before they could even talk. At first, producers thought casting twins was the perfect solution to escape strict child labor laws. One twin would work while the other one rested. But there was one problem. They wouldn't stop crying. John Stamos, frustrated with constant filming delays, went to the producers and said, "You gotta get rid of them." And they did. The twins were temporarily replaced with another set of babies, but those new actors didn't work out either. So, the Olsen twins were brought back, and the rest is history. Or is it? As the show became a global sensation, the pressure on the twins grew unbearable. They worked long hours, often missing out on a normal childhood. By the time Full House ended, they were some of the richest child actors in Hollywood, but they never seemed happy about it. Fast forward to the Fuller House reboot. Fans were shocked when the Olsen twins refused to return, but the reason? They said they wanted nothing to do with Hollywood anymore. They no longer wanted to be treated as properties in a shooting set. Instead of coming back to the franchise that made them famous, they left forever. They had the choice to leave or stay, but does every actor have this privilege to choose what they want? The next show will give you the answer to this question. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was the show that made Will Smith a superstar, but behind the fun and laughter, not everything was as perfect as it seemed. There was Bel-Air behind-the-scenes drama and an unexpected disappearance that left fans wondering what really happened. She was fierce, elegant, and the heart of the Banks family. Then suddenly, she was gone. But what if I told you that Aunt Viv's disappearance wasn't just a casting change? In the first 3 seasons of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Janet Hubert played the original Aunt Viv, who kept Will and the entire family in check. But after season 3, she vanished without explanation, replaced by a different actress like nothing really happened. The official reason? Creative differences. But here's what really happened. Janet and Will Smith did not get along. She accused him of being young, arrogant, and disrespectful, while Will claimed that she was just difficult to work with. Then things got even worse. Janet revealed that during her final season, she was pregnant and in an abusive marriage. She was struggling emotionally, but instead of getting support, she felt isolated and pushed out. After she was fired, she struggled to find work. She later said Will's words about her being hard to work with ended up blacklisting her from Hollywood. For nearly 30 years, she blamed Will Smith for ruining her career. But in 2020, something unexpected happened. Will and Janet finally met again in an emotional sit-down, and for the first time, Will admitted he had been young and insensitive, and Janet revealed the pain she carried for decades. But was it too little too late? We saw an on-screen aunt-nephew drama, but what about a little bit of spice? It was America's most wholesome family, a perfect house, 6 smiling kids, and the ultimate TV parents. But what if I told you there was a behind-the-scenes crush so surprising that it still has fans talking today? Because while Greg Brady was busy chasing America's friends on screen, off-screen he had a different love interest. Someone completely unexpected. His TV mom. And the craziest part, they actually went on a date. Barry Williams, the actor who played Greg Brady, was 16 years old and teenage heartthrob of the 70s, and Florence Henderson, who played his mom, was 36. And yet, this wasn't just a small crush. Barry Williams later revealed that he was completely smitten with her, and somehow they ended up on a dinner date. Today, that might have been earth-shaking news in media, but back then, even fans at that time just laughed it off. Florence later claimed it was cute, and that she saw Barry as just a boy with a crush. But if the roles were reversed, would people still think it was cute? At least it was considered a cute little love story. But what you're about to hear next is a story of betrayal. Drake and Josh showed the kind of friendship that was real. 2 stepbrothers who went from total opposites to inseparable best friends. But what if I told you that bond was never as real as it seemed? For years, fans believed Drake Bell and Josh Peck were just like their characters off-screen, but something was off behind the scenes. At first, there were subtle signs that things weren't as perfect as they seemed, but every assumption took a wild turn when Josh Peck got married. It was a huge event packed with friends, co-stars, and Hollywood A-listers. But guess who wasn't there? Drake Bell. Not just absent, he wasn't even invited. The internet exploded. Drake took to Twitter, posting messages about feeling betrayed, and fans were shocked. If their friendship was real, why wasn't he there? And their friendship didn't age well either. Years later, things got even worse. Drake Bell faced serious legal troubles, disturbing allegations, and a heavy downfall in career. Meanwhile, Josh Peck distanced himself even further, barely even mentioning his former co-star. Nobody knows really what happened between them. Might it have been just a creative difference? This show had more than just the lighthearted dad jokes and renovation tips we saw on screen. Home Improvement made Tim Allen a household name. But what if I told you one of its biggest stars was hiding a dark secret? Before she became a global icon on Baywatch, Pamela Anderson got her big break on Home Improvement, playing Lisa, the Tool-Time girl. But here's what the show never told you. In 1991, when Pamela was just 23, she claimed that Tim Allen flashed her backstage wearing nothing but a robe. According to Pamela, he opened his robe and exposed himself, telling her, "It's only fair because I've seen you naked." Why? Because at that time, Pamela just posed for Playboy magazine, and Tim allegedly thought it was a joke. Pamela later wrote in her memoir that she laughed it off at the time but never forgot it. Tim Allen, however, denied everything, saying, "No, it never happened." But here's where it gets even more shocking. Pamela left the show just after 2 seasons, just as her career was about to blow up. And to this day, the alleged incident remains one of the most controversial secrets in home improvement history. So was it just a misunderstanding? Or was there more to the story that Hollywood never wanted you to know? This is not the only time when a lighthearted show took a wild turn. The show felt different from other Disney sitcoms. It was a different approach among the children's show with warm and fresh happenings, and it seemed to have pretty much a usual end. What if I told you the show's sudden end wasn't just about moving on? Something bigger was actually happening behind the scenes. For 4 seasons, Good Luck Charlie was a Disney Channel favorite. Fans expected a long run. After all, most Disney sitcoms get at least 5 seasons. But then, out of nowhere, Good Luck Charlie's 5th season was canceled. At first, Disney gave a simple explanation that it had run its course, but fans were not convinced. Because just before the cancellation, something intriguing had happened. Disney introduced its first ever same-gender couple in a children's show. It was just 1 episode, 2 moms dropping their kids off at the playdate. A small, normal moment, but the reaction to the scene was massive. Many parents praised the show for breaking boundaries, but overall it received major backlash from the audience. Suddenly, the timeline gets even more interesting. Shortly after that episode aired, the show was gone. Disney never officially linked the cancellation to the controversy, but fans began asking questions. Was the show already set to end, or did Disney pull the plug because of the backlash? The cast moved on. The Duncan house went dark, and to this day, Good Luck Charlie remains one of Disney's most sudden-ended shows. Do you think that the audience might have overreacted to such a subtle portrayal of an idea? What if I were to say that there were instances when the audience didn't react at all? This next show will leave you speechless. What you're about to see is one of the most disturbing moments in British television history. A moment broadcast to millions. A moment that went unchecked for decades. In 1976, on a live episode of a popular music show, Top of the Pops, legendary British TV host Jimmy Savile was caught on camera sexually assaulting a young woman. The teenager in the footage is Sylvia Edwards, just 19 years old at the time. As Savile introduces the next act, his hand is visibly up her skirt, touching her inappropriately. Sylvia squirms, jumps, and shrieks, but no one steps in to stop him. Years later, Sylvia opened up about this horrifying moment, revealing how it impacted her life. I felt his fingers go towards my bottom. It was disgusting. He just laughed and carried on mauling me while talking to the camera, Sylvia said. The worst part? It seemed like no one cared. When she reported the assault to a BBC employee, she was told to get lost because Savile was only messing about. This footage is just one example of the decades of abuse Savile got away with. In total, over 300 victims came forward after his death, exposing the disturbing side of television shows. It was a wholesome family drama that preached morality and faith. But what if I told you the show's biggest star was hiding a dark, disturbing secret? And once you hear what happened, you'll never be able to watch the show the same way ever again. For 11 seasons, Stephen Collins played Reverend Eric Camden, a kind, devoted father and pastor. He was one of the main characters of Seventh Heaven, guiding his on-screen children through life's challenges with wisdom and love. But in real life, he was hiding something absolutely horrifying. In 2014, a voice recording leaked in which Stephen Collins confessed to inappropriate behavior with underage girls. The recording that was made during a private therapy session with his ex-wife, actress Faye Grant. In it, Collins detailed disturbing incidents involving multiple minors, and the moment the tape went public, his career was over. And how did Hollywood react to this news? And what was the response from his co-stars? Networks immediately pulled reruns of Seventh Heaven from TV. His co-actors were horrified. Catherine Hicks, who played his wife in the show, publicly announced that she would never work with him ever again. He was cut from projects, completely erased from Hollywood. But do you know what the worst part is? Collins never faced any criminal charges because the incidents happened so long ago to be and thus, the wholesome image of Seventh Heaven was forever destroyed. Horrible, right? Watch out, as I'm about to ruin another show for you. Saved by the Bell wasn't just a teen sitcom, it was a cultural phenomenon. But what if I told you the real drama wasn't on screen, but it was actually behind the scenes? They all seem like best friends on the surface, but all those warm moments on screen were far from reality. For years, rumors swirled about tension between cast members. There were cliques, off-screen romances that didn't always end well, and one cast member who always seemed like an outsider. And what did he do in return? I bet you can't guess. To fans, he was Screech, the awkward, goofy sidekick who never got the girl but always got the laughs, but he wasn't laughing much in his real life. While the rest of the cast formed close friendships, Diamond was isolated. He didn't fit in with the cool crowd, both in show and in real life. And after Saved by the Bell ended, things got worse. Feeling left behind, Dustin Diamond wrote a tell-all book that exposed shocking behind-the-scenes secrets. He claimed cast members hooked up, backstabbed each other, and weren't as close as fans believed. The book made headlines, but it also destroyed his remaining connections to the show. Later on, he admitted that some parts were exaggerated, but the damage was already done. Then came the real tragedy. After years of struggling with his career and personal life, Dustin Diamond passed away in 2021. Most of his former classmates barely spoke to him in his final years. So now we have to ask, was Saved by the Bell really the perfect teen dream, or was the story much darker? You know Corey, Topanga, and Sean. You know their stories, their struggles, their happy endings. But what if I told you one of the most important characters was erased from the show without a word? No goodbye, no closure, just gone. And here's where it gets even stranger. The actress didn't even disappear from the show. She was just pushed out and silenced. And what happened when she finally spoke out about it? Angela Moore was more than just a side character. She was Sean Hunter's love interest, Topanga's best friend, and the only major black character in the show. Her relationship with Sean was different from every other teen romance on TV. It was real and emotional, and then one day, gone. No major breakup, no emotional farewell, just a rushed excuse. Angela moved to Europe. It didn't make sense, and it didn't feel right. And years later, when the actress finally revealed the truth, it was so much worse than fans expected. For years, Trina McGee, the actress who played Angela, stayed quiet about what really happened. Then, in 2020, she finally spilled the truth. She wasn't just written off, she was excluded, ignored, and worse, she was called a racial slur on set. And the biggest shock? Right before the final season, she was told to tone down her blackness. As if being a strong, independent black woman didn't fit the show's vibe. And the final betrayal? The entire Boy Meets World cast reunited for the final season. Trina McGee wasn't even invited. Do you think this was Hollywood's usual carelessness, or was there something darker at play? Do you remember Hyde, the sarcastic, rebellious bad boy of that 70s show? What if I told you that Danny Masterson, the actor behind Hyde, wasn't just playing a bad boy? Because while fans were laughing at his one-liners, several women were coming forward with horrifying accusations. In the early 2000s, multiple women accused Danny of serious issues. They claimed he drugged them, assaulted them, and when they tried to seek justice, they were silenced. And here's where things get darker. Danny was a prominent member of the Church of Scientology, and according to reports, the church allegedly helped cover up these accusations. Victims say they were pressured to stay silent. Others say they were threatened. And this was all happening while the 70s show kept him on the cast. The whole crew knew about the chaos going on off-screen, but still Danny played his role to the end of the show. And for years, the accusations against Masterson were swept under the rug, but not until 2023 when he was convicted of 2 counts of rape and sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Fans were shocked, and the industry went silent. And that's how the legacy of the show was forever stained. But what are your thoughts? Which of these shows would you consider not rewatching today? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our other video, The Dark Truths of Classic Children's TV Shows They Didn't Show You, because that one is even better. Thank you for watching.